But I thought this was really cool. I bet this year for you guys is really super different because of COVID. But I thought it was cool how you kind of made this experience for people with this program. Kind of what kind of went on into your mind when you guys were thinking to do this?
Yeah, it's definitely the timing of it is incredible, and for us, like we often plan a lot of things and we do our best, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And to be honest, this was one of those things that we're like, let's this would be a great idea. We're going to Madison Square Garden, which was something that we kind of hoped for when we were a lot younger and started coming to America. But we'd say things like, could you imagine one day if we could go to, play at Madison Square Garden? And we'd be like, that'd be incredible, but that's never going to happen. And so, fast forward, a number of years, and we, we're able to make it work. And so we're definitely like, we've got to try and capture this. And we're able to pull it all together. And now we've just released it, and it's really exciting for us.
So the year, what was the time frame? When did you guys actually go play there? What year was that?
It was in July of 2019.
Okay.
29, yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely last July. And then, we're working on it, and obviously everything's happened. And I just think again, the timing of it is, I believe, it's right for right now.
Well, I think it's interesting because this the movie and your CD is about, the overarching theme is about unity and all that stuff. And I just feel like that's kind of a theme that would be really good right now. Can you kind of expand on that and kind of the process of that? I mean, that's kind of like, I feel like God probably told you, that's a good theme right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for us always, we are everything we do is just kind of a reflection of our journey and what we're passionate about, and obviously our faith in God, and trying to really show and encourage others that, hey, everyone doesn't have to be in a worship band or tour the world, but our story has been very much of just using what God's put in our hands and using it to fulfill what's in our heart. And for that, it's been music and creativity. And it hasn't happened overnight. It started out when we were in our youth group, 20 plus years ago. And our big goal was to maybe write songs that our friends in our high school would enjoy. There was no plan or desire or dream for it to travel around the world like it has. But I just think that's the story of the grace of God, when we just use whatever we've got, and give it to God and steward it the best that we can. Then God breathes on it and blesses it. And so really when we do these nights, that's the story as well. It's pointing people to, hey, maybe get your eyes off your situation and the things that you don't have right now, but understand we've got a God who's in control, who isn't shocked by a pandemic, and created us to be united, and we want to gather on around what we believe in and what we agree on, not what we disagree on, and just see what God can do in that kind of atmosphere, and even what God can do when you apply that each and every day, even when things, for all of us, especially over the last 12 months or so, it's like no one expected and no one wanted what we've gone through, but God hasn't been shocked. God hasn't gone on a break. God saw this coming, and God hasn't changed. His word hasn't changed. And so we just firmly believe, and that's what these songs, they're all based around the truths of God's word. And I think when we declare them and we let them into our spirit, it's going to help us do whatever God's called us to do today. And so that's really our hope, that people would be encouraged and their faith would grow as a result of, being affected in any way with music.
Yeah, I felt that because, I'm here outside of LA, and the churches have been not open, and they're starting to open with outdoors kind of seating and stuff. And so, but I thought it was great to have this kind of experience, and to it's cool because the movie shows, it filmed you guys there, and so many worshipers, so many people there in the audience. And you just get kind of hyped or whatever, and that's a good thing, hyped on God or whatever. So that was good for me during this time period of COVID and everything.
Yeah, and 100%. And for us in Sydney, we were able to, we went 8 months without gathering, and then things are somewhat under control, and so we're able to go back to church. And it was the most incredible thing. But a few days after that, there was another little outbreak, and everything's been shut back down. And we're hoping that it won't be too long that we can, gather. And so I watched it watched this, the live in Madison Square Garden when it came out a few days ago I got 3 kids and with my wife, and we sat down and watched it. It's kind of cool to show them what Daddy does when he goes away. So I'm like, if anything else, it's a little, I can show my kids what I do. But just seeing how excited they were, and even, listen, I was there, so I knew what to expect, but just that and that's what these nights have always been about. And that's what I love that we can show, is that it's so encouraging that when you're in the midst and you just maybe got your own struggles, your fears, your doubts, but you can see someone else who they're the same. No one's perfect. No one goes through life without any issues, but they're still making a decision to praise God and to be grateful for who God is and focus on what we've got in God, and not just, what might be lacking. And that gives us faith. And I experience that every night from the actual platform, even though I come in to do that to others. And that's why I think it's so important when we gather. And that's why I think right now, because we haven't really been able to gather, where this can help so many people, because I think you'll be encouraged by it. And so that's really our heart of why we do it.
So on that note, I'm just thinking, because I have 2 little kiddos, what do you do in COVID? Like, has there been things that you've done in COVID with your kiddos when you haven't been able to actually go into the church and stuff? Have you been able to read the Bible with them, or what's kind of your guys' process?
Yeah, I think just in general, like everyone says it, like my youngest, I got 3 kids, and my youngest son, Jones, he started school yesterday. Our school year runs a bit different. It's like January to December. And he started kindergarten, and it's the first time my wife and I yesterday were like, we're kid free fully. And, and we're just talking about how it just flies. Everyone says it from the second you have a child, everyone's like, blink and my oldest is only 11, so it's only been 11 years. I've still got, some time with them at home, thankfully, but it is flying. And so I think, if anything, just this whole season of being able to be present in the moment. I think that even if you are with your kids all the time, you can be in a moment with them but not be present. And so it's just made me realize that's been my number one silver lining through this whole season, is to be able to have a break from traveling and just be home and be present and take every moment. And so it does look like reading to them at night, praying with them, or going for walks, and just doing like the most mundane things, which, to be honest, I'm ready to move on from, but they have been incredible.
Are you guys in the process of being able to write something new, or are you just thinking about it, starting it, or what's kind of going on now? Yeah, no, I'm excited, because we're in the middle of creating a new record, and we've all, when all this started out 20 years ago, we all were together really close, but over the years we've spread and had, it's been seasons where our bass player was in London and our drummer was in Paris, and Joel and Dylan would be in New York or Los Angeles, and we'd be in Sydney. So we've learned how to kind of stay connected, and obviously with technology, but we've never fully done a whole album like separated. And I'm sure there might be a moment where we will try and get all together, but we've just basically, everyone's set up what they can with the equipment and technology we've got, and we're we feel like the timing's right to write the next record, and we're super excited about it. It's still very early days. It's just we're writing, and it's like throwing paint on a canvas, and we don't know what the picture's going to be yet. And but we just know, like always, if we're only going to do it if we feel like God's in it, and we feel like that. And I'm excited and also nervous, because we've got no idea whether it'll be good or not, but we'll try our best. But so are you guys all on Zoom then? You're just meeting up all on Zoom, or how does it work? Yeah,
we try to meet semi-regularly on Zoom, and sometimes it's fun, and then other times it's just everyone's zoomed out, as can happen. But at the moment, I think it's more about everyone's just taking personal responsibility to be writing, thinking, working, creating, and we're slowly trying to create like a, put it all in one pot and start realizing what we've got there. But like always, and I think it's what everyone does, it's just we're stepping out in faith and believing for the best, and believing God is in it right now. But it's in those very early stages where there's we can't tell if anything's good yet. So
and then I read that you there's like a process after you submit kind of your lyrics. You submit them to Brian, or you submit them to one of our we got one of our teaching pastors who's very theologically sound, or at least
way more theologically sound than we are, and because you can get caught up in the moment and trying to make the melody fit with the, you know, with the song and the lyric, and so we'll get really creative in that. And also we're trying to tell age-old truths in a new and fresh way, and there's so many dimensions to who God is and his character, and so we believe that, you know, we can, you know, show keep telling that story in a way that's never been told before. And so anyway, all that to say, sometimes we can get away from ourselves and come up with something that may not make sense. It does to us in this little creative bubble moment, but just doesn't translate. Or actually, even a lot of our songs get translated into so many different languages, and so we also want to make sure that process is going to work. So yeah, we'll submit our songs, and then yeah, that's always a fun process when they get when we have to make changes. But I think it's a great process, and it's only there to strengthen up our songs. We always want them to not just be our cool random ideas, but I think they're powerful when they're based on the truth of God and who he is. So yeah, that's all ahead of us.